Bam. We're live. Good morning. I thought I was late. Mr. Khalipa. Where are you? Hey, guys. What's up? Jeez Louise. Good morning. There he is. I see him. He's coming in. There he is. Working out? Taking a shower? You working out? Taking a shower?
Dude.
You working out? You taking a shower?
Are you working out? You taking a shower? Good morning.
I take a shower.
You did take a shower. Then
I got all into this casual conversation with my wife, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna talk to Jason in 2 minutes.
Bro, you got to be ready for it. You know, I have not taken a shower yet today. I was in the garage getting a little something, and now we're right here. Are we live?
Hey,
are we live?
We are live. Hey, do you prefer to? I used to have this kind of like almost this need. My armor was to be at least work out within 30 minutes of doing a podcast, so I would be sharp, like sharper than my guest. It was like cheating. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm gonna be sharper than my guest. I'm gonna work out.
Yeah, it's like a cheat code, right?
Yeah, because it's early. It's 7 a.m. at your house, so you already worked out. Yeah, crazy.
No, for me, I mean, to be fair, like my morning routine, especially when the kids are back to school. They went back to school recently, yesterday. I don't like get after it in the morning, but I go in the garage. So like this morning at 6, we were in the garage and I just do some like reverse hyper. I do some stretch. I do some basic bike as the kids are getting after it. So I'm coaching them, or I'm coaching Ava in particular. And then I'm just kind of moving, getting my body ready. I train hard later in the day.
Your daughter already has been in the gym today?
Every day.
But at 7:02. I just kissed my kids. They were in bed.
Yeah, I mean she every day she's just in there in the morning. Yeah, it jumpstarts her day, and even worse than that, and it makes me feel like a lazy piece of garbage.
Yeah,
even worse than that is that she does a cold plunge every day, which is just crazy.
She's already done a cold plunge.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. It makes me feel like a piece of garbage, man.
Because hey, do you see her get high from that? Do you see you do see that? You see like oh shit, my daughter just did a line of blow. Like you see her go in and come out and she's on fire.
You know, you just see a total mood change, you know, just like it just sets the tone for the day. Yeah, it's definitely different for sure. I just put on comments. Now I see that we are live.
Don't do it, Jason.
Oh, I'm getting off the comments. I'm
joking. I'm joking. Do it. I love
it. Good morning. That's a good day. But yeah, no, that's kind of, now that we're back at school, that's kind of a routine. Before, during the summer and stuff, you know, we were traveling out, we were doing different things. So it was just a little bit different.
Hey, tell me about your kids going to school. I got this. I see school as like this indoctrination camp, and I see it as the bad guy. What do you do with school? Why don't you? How come you don't see it the way I see it?
What do I do? Oh, you mean homeschooling?
Yeah, like why do you send your kids to school? Like I see the schools as bad guys. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna teach my kids some shit that's either not true, that they're gonna believe, or they're gonna teach them something that I don't think is age appropriate. Why? And by the way, I wasn't born like this. I was like, fuck, if you don't send your kids to school, you're a weirdo. So I kind of made this journey. What do you like about school for your kids?
Oh man, that is such a deep question. So I would say
you've already worked out. It's like gloves are off, dude. I'm fucking coming at you full steam. Hey, I actually wrote my questions of kind of like niceness to assholeness.
Yeah.
But this one's not even on the list. I'm just went straight.
I'm gonna start off by warming this guy up, and then I'm just gonna give it to him. You know you know what it is, Sevan? So you know Matt Boudreaux, right?
Yeah.
And his model is a little bit more progressive in the sense of like
I love his schools. Yeah,
the Acton Academies, you know, and Apogee Strong, what he's doing there is pretty remarkable, right? But to answer your question, I think that
is that where your kids go?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
So my kids go to a normal private school, and to answer your question, I think that there's varying degrees. So I'll give you an example. Maybe this isn't the best example. You only have like a certain amount of discipline bucket. So imagine like you have a bucket of discipline, and during the day, you only can expend so much before it's just gone. And so for me, I use that discipline on things like training, on things like eating well, on things like whatever. But some days I don't have the discipline, and I'll admit it, to, you know, do a double day or to go on the cold plunge. I just don't have the discipline. I don't have it in me because I've just used it up on all this other stuff. And when you think about with school, it's a completely different analogy. It's like there's only so much you could be like progressive in thought process and like where you want to go. And I think we do a lot of things to try and get there, but taking traditional schooling and not going that route, it was just a step too far for us right now. I think the school we go to has a good blend of like, good morals, good character, good.
Is it a religious school?
Yeah, it is. So it's a
Yeah,
private
okay.
Catholic school, but they don't, it's not force fed. It's not aggressive. It just teaches good morals, good ethics, treat people well. And the people there, what I like about the school is that the parents are trying to lift each other up is what I get. It's not like a battle between, oh, you're richer, you're poorer, you do this, you're a mechanic, whatever. It's no. How can we support this community to level us all up? Because it's a small community. So for those,
how many kids in what
200.
grades?
Yeah.
And both your kids go to the same school?
Yeah. So it's like TK
dress code.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love it. I love it already.
So it's, I guess the reason why I brought up like the discipline thing is that, when it comes to like, my relationship with my wife and my family and my kids, there are certain things that I really strive for, right? Like regularly exercising, going out there, doing different things, like really trying to be progressive in the way that we're trying to raise the kids and think about it in terms of like life is going to be hard and we need to try and expose them to things. But when it comes to school, I feel like we found the right fit for us. But if other people want to do acting academy or homeschooling, like rock and roll. But I think that we're getting a lot out of this school.
Yeah. Mike, Pool Boy, I went to Valley Christian High School in San Jose, and I'd agree they weren't aggressive in terms of shoving the Bible down our throats. I don't even mind that, actually. But even though I'm not a religious person, I wish I had more Bible shoved down my throat. I wish I knew more about the Bible. But is that the school your kids go to, the one he just mentioned?
No. I went to Valley Christian. So Valley Christian High School is like, no, that's a high school. There is a feeder school that goes into it, but no. I mean, like my wife and I, we met at a private Catholic school called Archbishop Mitty, and then we went to a Jesuit university, Santa Clara University. So we've had that background too. It's what's normal for us. It's what we've known. So that's one of the reasons I think we've explored that for the kids. But Sevan, it's also like what you make it, man. Like, dude, I'm heavily active in the men's club. We are fully engaged when it comes to like assistant coaches for the teams. Like we are there all the time. And so we get to meet parents and get to surround ourselves with good parents, with good families to level up,
Yeah. Hey, you like spending time with your parents?
With my parents?
Yeah.
My parents are awesome, man. Like, and so are my wife's parents. Like they're awesome too. Like we're super blessed, dude. Like, like
so some kids don't want to spend time with their parents.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think, and Matt Boudreau and I we just released a podcast today with him about like factory reset. So like if you think about it, like when your kids are born, it's like a factory reset. They're like at zero. And then they have all these inputs into them. And you're a part of those inputs. Now, if you send them to school, obviously there's a bunch of other inputs that come from there. But I think that we have the opportunity to guide and to control those inputs. And, according to Matt, and I agree with him, like, dude, his kids are, 12, 13, so are ours, a little bit older, and they seem to still like us. I think it's because we're developing that relationship like you are with your kids, man. I see it. Like you're engaged. Dude, you show up, and I think that's going to create, I think this idea that like, as your kids get older, you don't have a relationship. I think maybe it's because when they were younger, you didn't develop it the right way. Perhaps. I don't know. I'll find out.
My mom told me that. My mom said, she said, you're going to have a great relationship with your kids. I said, why do you say that? She said, because if you invest time in them now, when you get older, they'll put that time, back into you. And I see it when I wake up in the morning. Like and my mom lives in the area. When I wake up in the morning, I always think, oh, I wonder what she's doing. I wonder what I can include her in today. Like I want to hang out with her. You know what I mean? I want to shoot the shit with her. I call her just like a friend and just shoot the shit with her, just whatever.
100%, man. And I see what you're doing, and I think it's inspiring, and it's inspiring for me. And I'm trying to, lead by example and do the same thing, because you only get one shot at this. And I want to make sure that, I don't look back on it later on and be like, damn, I could have done something better, especially when it comes to, being a parent. And it's not always easy, man. There's a lot of, it's not easy, but I think as long as you're showing up and you're trying your best, you're going to get better every day.
Hey, the reset button. My mom comes from this school of thought where like you're born who you are. And I'm like on the total opposite end. I'm like, we talk about this all the time. I'm on the end of like, you're not born who you are. Like I'm more like you're born with a clean slate and your shit gets programmed by all the people around you. Do you have any
Oh man, that's a tough question. You know, I've met a lot of families who are like, were adopted and things like that. And I think when you see like adopted families, you start seeing certain personality traits that come out from maybe, the donor, whatever. But I do think you're a product of your environment, right? Like if you're loved, if you're cared for, if you're taught the right things, if you're taught empathy, kindness, if you're, all the things that, I think make a good human. I think those things carry over and you could make up for the maybe what you're genetically dispositioned to be like. But I think that if you aren't raised in that level of care and whatever, I think those personality traits just go even bigger. Like imagine when someone gets rich. Like if you're an asshole and you get rich, you just become a bigger asshole. But if you're a good person, if you're a good human and you get rich, you're still
you
going to
lose
be
all your money.
you're still going to be a good person, right?
Right.
So it's really the way that you're surrounded, I think. And that's what and like you, man, like that's the most important thing to me right now.
What do you think about this? Along those same lines, this is a pretty big pivot, but there'll be these people who be like, I'm rich or I'm famous and I'm good at something and I don't really know who my friends are because people just like me because I'm rich and famous. And I want to be like, hey, dude, people just liked you for something else before that too. Like there's this real negative thought around people who use you or that being used, like using people or being used is like some sort of bad thing, right? So like the people in your life, a ton of them use you. They use you for inspiration. They use you for your gym. They use you for your work ethic. They use you because you have kids. You know what I mean? Like and there's like this negativity around it. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Like drop that. Like
they use, well, I think when you see people,
you don't want to be taken advantage of.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
You don't want to be hurt. But if you can help people and people can use you, it's like, fuck, to me, that gives me value.
Well, and I think like, for me, if you look at like your relationships, let's just say like the 10 closest people, I think, maybe something I was misguided in is thinking like, let's just say I had a business mentor. So when I was young and I was coming up in the gyms, I had some phenomenal business mentors. And those people were I was inspired by their work ethic and their sales process, all this stuff. But I might be able to take certain things that I want to take from them and then have other people in my life where I'm inspired by other areas and take that from them. So let's just say with you, I'm really inspired by your ability to be a dad, your fatherhood, but I'm not really inspired by, I don't know, the way, whatever, other part of your life, right? But
go ahead, let it out. Go ahead, let it out, Jason.
I don't know, your business academ, whatever, right? Like, but the point is like, if you surround yourself with a group of people, right, you can identify certain traits and characteristics in each one of them and then try and start pulling from them. And then you want to become like the best of all, right? You want to become like the best of all of those things. And I think that you're not necessarily using people, you're getting inspiration from people. Now, where that changes is like if someone's rich and the only reason why you're doing something with them is because you want to be able to use their private jet and go stay at a nice hotel. Like that's not cool because you don't actually like their company or like them as a human being. Now, you might enjoy those other things, but you got to still enjoy them as a human. Otherwise, you're just a scum,
Okay, let me push back on that a little bit.
All right, let's do it.
You don't necessarily like. There's people that I've not necessarily liked, and then they had kids, and then I liked them, and I've learned to not to accept the things maybe I didn't like about them because I like having our families together.
Yeah.
I like having our families together. And that would have never had. So there is a kind of a bit, God, I don't know what the word is. Or if someone had a big van, let's say it's not even a jet and they could drive my kid places, even though I don't let my kids out of my sight.
Especially not in the big van.
Yeah. Maybe it's not, maybe the thing is it's maybe, I like maybe the way you started going with it. It's not that I like to be used or I think it's okay to use people. It's like, hey, that's really not the right narrative. That's not the right story to say.
Yeah. And I
not
think
to use that word. Use.
Things do change when you have a family, right? Like, let's just say you create great, and the real, so it's almost, okay. So maybe this is the way you could look at it, Sevan. You have like, you're dating somebody, but there's certain characteristics of them that like far outweigh the negatives of that individual. It's the same thing like when you find a family and you have 2 kids and they both get along with your 2 kids, or in your case, 3 kids. You have 3 kids and they happen to have 3 kids too. And they could all be skateboarding. Well, you could kind of like, you'll still hang out with the dad because like overall it just works. You know what I mean?
Overall it works. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the difference.
Good start piling up more.
That's right. That's right.
And perspective changes. When I had my windows tinted illegally, I was selling weed. I always drove too loud. I had 415s in the back of my Rabbit. I hated cops. Now I have 2 kids. I fucking love cops. Because I'm not doing anything that conflicts with them, and the people who do things that conflict with them, I don't want them anywhere near me.
Dude.
You know what I mean? Like my whole perspective on them changes. They went from being the enemy to being like, wow, can you just be everywhere I'm at?
Dude, 100%. I mean, I never really had like a super negative connotation in the police, but
fuck
I
those
love
guys.
them.
They take your weed.
Dude, we go, it's funny how things change right now in California. It's like, oh yeah, you want to smoke some weed? Anyways. But yeah, we're doing monthly classes for law enforcement at the gym, just trying to, help them get fitter. So hopefully we'll have some more show up.
I watched your I was the only person who watched your podcast on kettlebells and cocktails. That view it got is me. And on that show, you sound like are you going to become a men's only gym?
No.
What's going on over there? You got some problem with women? Are you anti-woman?
No, I'm just trying to help dads level up, man. It's just something that, I feel like for me and where we're going is just leaning into a demographic of like hard chargers that want to train hard. And if you're a woman, great. But I relate, obviously I come to it from more of a dad perspective. We talked a lot about being a dad on that particular podcast. And it's just something that I'm really, dude, I'm just, that's how I've evolved over the years. I went from wanting to be the fittest on earth and winning the CrossFit Games to now being able to protect for my family. Like that's really important for me. And I'm sure it is for you too. And so, no, we're not going to just be for guys, but that's an audience that really, calls to me is like, I see guys we're talking about school, I see guys, I'm like, dude, I want to do a monthly fitness activity for the men's club. Like I want to be able to provide tools to dads so they can show up better and play with their kids. And I think long-term, it'll create better young men who will then create, it'll just spawn off. And that goes for women too. It's just not something that like, I can only control what's in my control. And I could speak to guys, I think, because that's where I'm coming from.
Have you got, and obviously I was joking. I know you weren't going to do a men's only gym, but you really are pushing this, embracing sort of this, like you said, Matt Boudreau or Ted Kennedy, or like, or even this clip. Let me play this clip for you here. This thing that Jordan Peterson's saying. You really are embracing this this mentality right here. Let me play this here for you. Here we go. You're gonna love this. Might as well be you saying it, I think.
Men should be dangerous. By dangerous, that implies I should be ready to threaten someone, to hurt somebody.
No, you should be capable of it. But that doesn't mean you should use it. There's nothing to you otherwise. Like if you're not a formidable force, there's no morality in your self-control. If you're incapable of violence, not being violent isn't a virtue. People who teach martial arts know this full well, right? If you learn a martial art, you learn to be dangerous, but simultaneously you learn to control it. Both of those come together. And the combination of that capacity for danger and the capacity for control is what brings about the virtue. Otherwise, you confuse weakness with moral virtue. I'm harmless, therefore I'm good. It's like, no, that isn't how it works. That isn't how it works at all. If you're harmless, you're just weak. And if you're weak, you're not going to be good. You can't be, because it takes strength to be good. It's very difficult to be good.
Saying men should be
You almost want to be, you're almost like making princes. Like you believe in that. Like you like the idea of a man, which says nothing about women. You women do what you want, play football, make money, stay at home, have kids. You're not saying anything about women, but you want to make men who can ride horses, wield a sword, bring home food, protect their kids, carry their wife out of the carriage if she falls asleep to her bed. Like that's what you're into that. If you fully embrace that now.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I want nothing more. Like I want nothing more than, let's just say 10, 20 years from now, for someone to come up to me and be like, dude, your son, he's the most compassionate, loving individual I've ever met. And he also stood up for me when that bully came and talked to me, and he had the capability to do so. Like that would make me so proud, right? What would make me proud is having a vision of success where I don't think you could be both things. You could be loving, caring, compassionate, emotional, and you could also be a badass. And I think that's our job to train them. And I think you're doing the same thing, dude. Like, you get your kids into jiu-jitsu and martial arts. Do you think those kids don't have better self-confidence, and with more self-confidence, they could carry themselves in a different way, and they could approach situations in the same way, different way, and they will never, I guarantee, I can't guarantee, but it's highly unlikely if someone does jiu-jitsu as a youth and for many, many years that I ever see them going to bully somebody else, because they have the self-confidence. They don't need to go boaster. And I don't know, that's where I'm at, man. And I want the same thing, by the way. I want the same thing. I want my daughter to be independent. I want her to be confident. I want her to be aggressive when she needs to be. And those are important skill sets. This world is going to come at people hard. And if we just keep them in a bubble, I think we're doing them disservice.
What do you think about the notion of men and women competing? Has that come up with your daughter? Like, I don't mean in sports. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about like the Leah Thomas thing. I'm just talking about like, just like, hey, you are a woman. You don't need to compete with the man. You can be you can just fully embrace what it means to be a good woman. I don't even want to say strong woman.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're
right. As opposed to like, oh, I'm comparing myself to what men need to do out there.
Yeah, I think they're both completely different. Like, women have characteristics and strengths that a man can never have. They could carry a child. They could birth. Like, they could do things that we can't even fathom, and they're powerful and independent for that. Men have other characteristics that make them powerful and successful, and I think that's why it just works. And I think when you try and compare the two, it's difficult because they both bring different things to the table, and that's why it's wonderful. I mean, I've seen women do things that I've seen, Ashley, and I've seen other women do things that I don't think a man could ever do. Now, aside from birthing children, I'm talking about just in general, like being tough, being mentally resilient, being strong. And those are characteristics that I feel like, I'm inspired by. I also want that for young men as well. Right. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, it does.
I get inspiration from both. Like, I mean, dude, think about it this way, Sevan, like in the most difficult time of my life, it was Ashley that threw on the pants, right? And stepped up to the plate and said, hey man, like, get your shit together, basically. Right. That wasn't me. That was her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting. There were some decisions early on, medical decisions that my wife, for our kids, the same, very different than yours, but not foist upon us like yours were. Yours were like fucking immediate and right then and there with the cancer thing. But there were some decisions that she took and ran with, and I thought, and she didn't have my support. I acquiesced, and now years later, I'm like, oh my God, thank fucking Lord.
Right?
Holy shit.
They just know, man. They just know.
Holy shit.
And you need that. Like, if you want to be, like, if my job, if my role, and as I'm getting older, is to protect, provide for the family, to be a masculine energy that also is loving and caring, etc. You need the feminine, powerful, independent woman also. Like, Ashley, just, dude, she runs the shots. Like, I don't know how it is in your house, but I might think, you might think you're the boss. You're not the boss, dude.
I'm the boss until I'm not. So
That's
like, if I'm totally just running shit, and then she's like, no, that can't go there. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
And
sorry.
then I just move it. I take it outside or whatever.
Hey, so tonight we're gonna go do this. No, actually we're doing this. Okay.
Yeah, totally. I'm running the schedule 364 days a year. I think I'm the shit. We're doing this. No, we're not doing that. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean that.
I had this thing happen to me in the airport the other day. It's not a big deal.
Did you get recognized for being the CEO or what?
Yeah, that I did. I did. But I was in line to get on a flight, and a guy was in the wrong line, and he was with his two kids. He was in a line next to me. He was in pre-check, and I wasn't in pre-check. And he comes flying out of pre-check, and he's fucking pissed, and he has his two kids with him, and he's completely irate, and in confrontation with the TSA person saying like, hey, it's bullshit. I have pre-check and you're saying I can't go through because my son is 13. And he's so fucking angry.
Dude.
So he gets in line behind me. Now he's in my line. And I can tell he's pissed and he's calling people. And I see another TSA agent come up. And the guy's name was like Gama or something, a little Asian dude. And I go, Mr. Gama. And he looks at me and I said, hey, dude, this guy right here, he's late for his flight. He's got 2 beautiful kids with him. And could you possibly get him through? He stood in the wrong line for 40 minutes. And he looks at him and the guy looks at me and he gets him and he takes him. And for me, like, I don't do jiu-jitsu. I'm not formidable. I saw him and I'm like, wow, I could be that guy. I could be totally flustered and want to fight with people to get my way. Like, you know, and for me, that was like one of the most manly. And he took him. He's like, of course. And he takes the guy and the guy looks at me and says, thank you. And he takes him and they go up to the front of the line and he's gone. And for me, that was like one of the most manly things I'd ever done.
Yeah, because you stepped up and you supported, right?
Even though it wasn't shit, I was like, I felt like my balls drop a little bit.
Dude.
You know what I mean? It was crazy.
But now look at that lesson, though, for the kids, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah. My kids weren't there, unfortunately. I couldn't be like, dude, I was by myself.
But, you know, last time we're having dinner with some friends and my wife had been at like sushi earlier or whatever. And there was 4 people sitting at a table and they basically ended up screaming and yelling at the waiter and just walked out, didn't pay their bill. And it's just one of those examples, like, you know, when you have kids around, man, you know, they're picking up on all these things. So if you're freaking out, if you're yelling at people, they're going to think that's okay. And that's not okay. Like, I don't care what is going on. It's not okay.
Being out of control is not okay.
Yeah. Or being rude or disrespectful for people because you think you're better than them. Like, dude, come on, get the fuck out of here. And I think that's something that the kids pick up on. I mean, I wish they had been there in your particular case. Like, I'm sure there's been many other situations where you've done things like that because you're a good dude. You know, people
not like that. For me, that took some courage. And I feel like I learned that from my wife, actually. I feel like that's the role my wife normally plays. Like if I'm on the phone with someone fighting, she's like, give me that. And she
she calms it down.
Yeah, and gets it done.
Dude, you know what the thing about it is, man? You get on a flight. I've been traveling a lot and flight attendants are always at a level 10, man. They deal with so much bullshit. They deal with so many people that are so rude to them. But I get on the plane, I try and, you know, be kind and generous. But sometimes these people, they're just not even interested in having it because they've just been dealing with just jerks all day long and they're having long flights. But I'm glad you shared that, man. I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, as a guy or, you know, and I hate to even call it just like a guy or girl, whatever. It's just, dude, I'm in control of who I am. I'm a man and I want to be able to be the best I possibly can be for my family. That's what I'm trying to do. And I want to lead the best example I can be.
My wife always tells me, she's like, don't yell. You don't not yell at your kids because yelling at them is mean and it sucks. You don't yell at your kids because it shows that you're out of control. And if you're out of control, people are never cool. The coolest people in the world. So do you want your kids to be fucking cool? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, then stay in fucking control.
Dude, I was walking with my kids. This is like during COVID, right? Mm-hmm. Super crazy times. And
in California?
Yeah, dude.
Triple crazy.
Dude, it's super crazy. So we're walking between my house and my in-laws' house. So it was like a, I don't know, 1.5 mile walk. And we get like halfway.
Is it still like that? You still live that close to him?
We're probably like 5 miles now, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like 1.5 miles in. And dude, I just hear this girl screaming, like just screaming at the top of her lungs. I mean, just screaming, let go of me, blah, 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 just screaming. I'm just like, oh shit. And so we're walking down the street. And at that moment, I just hear it down like an alleyway. Just, I mean, like this is like level 10 screaming, not like level 2, 5. And so I'm with the kids and I just like made this instant decision. I'm like, I'm going to go help this girl out. Like there was no other option, man. Like you would do it too. Like it was so blatantly like this woman needs help. Like, so anyways, I walk down the alley. It's like pitch black. I'm like, hey kids, Ashley, just stay over here. And I get
nighttime.
Oh yeah. It's pitch black.
Oh shit.
And I get to the end of this alley and I see a van. I'm like, oh shit.
Holy crap.
And so I'm walking down this alley. There's a house, right? So it's a house and it's one of those like long driveways to the house. And in the back, there's a van. So I'm walking down. I keep hearing it. Let go of me. You're hurting me, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my gosh. So the family's over here. And so I probably walk for maybe 100 yards and I maybe 50 yards, whatever. And I get down and I see this guy throwing a girl in a van. And I'm like, oh man. I was like, shit. So I walk up to this guy. I'm like maybe 20 feet from him. I was like, hey man. I was like, what are you doing? Like, and he just looks at me and I'm like, oh boy, one of two things are about to go down.
Right.
And he goes, this is my daughter. She just took 20 pills. She's gonna overdose. I'm taking her to the hospital right now. You can call the police, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just letting you know I'm taking her right now to the hospital to get her stomach pumped. And I was reading the situation because here's this girl who doesn't want to be in this van. It's exactly what you would think it would be, but it's because
he's a white guy and she's a black girl, and you're like, wait a second, you can't be dad.
It was whatever. And then you see the mom trying to get out of the house. But anyways, long story short, right? It was what it was. It was exactly what it was. This guy is just trying to get his daughter to the hospital. But it was I walked back to the family and I'm all kind of like, fired up or whatever. And it was just a cool moment where, I had a choice just like you did at that moment. I had a choice, like either have walked down the alleyway or I could have not. And I'm glad I did, because I would have always I would have always wondered what if, and then also having my children see me do that was cool, because it just showed like, that's the type of people we need to be. Like, you want to be able to help others.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. Was your wife at any point like, Jason, do not go down there? Like, this family needs you. Don't get fucking killed. No,
I think at that point too, man, it was just so aggressive.
She was angry at you. She wanted you to get taken away.
Yeah. No, I just think the screaming was so aggressive that there wasn't really another option. You know what I mean? Like, It was just like, I don't know, like sharing the story now, it's like, it'd be like, why would you ever do that? But when you heard it, just like, it's like your baby crying. You're like, dude, I want to go soothe it. It's the same thing as like hearing this girl, like literally just like dying and you want to go help. Same idea, different, but you know what I mean?
Oh, I hear you. Jeremy E. World, Jason, Wes, Pyatt and I run a very similar men's dads group. Let's talk.
Okay.
Do you know who that is, Jeremy?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know who everyone is.
Oh, well, I know Jeremy and I know Wes. Yeah. Let's talk. It'd be good.
Is that the first you're hearing of it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that, like I said, yesterday I was at a men's club, like kind of like little whatever. And I told the guy, I'm like, look, man, like I want to help law enforcement, first responders, and I want to help dads, because that's an audience that I like can relate to. That's an audience that I could actually make an impact on. And like, if a dad loses 20 pounds, I mean, imagine if this guy is at work all day carrying 20 pounds, then he comes home and he has a 10-year-old son that wants to go play baseball. I mean, I know how it is with my son. I don't know how it is with your kids, but it's like, dude, let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's go do this. It's like, man, it's exhausting. Imagine if you're wearing a 20-pound weight vest all day. If we could help them get rid of that, all of a sudden now they could show up better.
Yeah, my kid's asking me all of a sudden. There are 2 6-year-olds and an 8-year-old. There's a massive demand on not only, it used to be just be physical. Now it's intellectual too. They have so many fucking questions. They've sticking their nose in everything.
Oh. Hey, Dad.
They try to look at my phone when I'm using my phone. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey, Dad, how about this? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they got ideas.
Yeah. You know what we did? By the way, just like so my son's 9, my daughter's 12. We got my son a Apple Watch because it could track him and we could call him and we could see where he's at, but he doesn't have all the access to all the apps and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Does he like it?
He likes it. We need to get him like a cover or something, because he feels like he's going to break it. So he doesn't want to wear it. I'm like, well, dude, that defeats the purpose. I need you
he's
to wear
already
it.
got a little OCD, some OCD shit.
I was like, bro, we'll put a cover on it. If
we'll
it
get
breaks,
you a new one.
Yeah.
We ball.
We don't ball, but we can make it work.
Sevan, where is this? Sevan would have speed dialed the cops. So what? So what?
Yes, Sevan would have walked down there. But going back to what you're saying about like my initiative, like if 10 years from now my son was in a similar situation, I would hope that he would do the same thing. And I think we need more of that. And I think that it's my responsibility to help train him so he could feel confident in those situations to be able to go do it. I started jiu-jitsu 7 years ago and, stand-up Muay Thai for that particular reason. Like, dude, I'd walk to the airport and people would tell me all the time, like, hey, I don't want to mess with you. You're so, whatever, right? Like, you know how it is. Like all these CrossFitters walking to the airport, it stands out. It's like, holy shit, what are these people doing? Right. And I'd always have people
see Tim Paulson and it looks like he could run through a brick wall.
100%.
Yeah.
And, and I'd always have people come up to me and say things like, oh, I don't want to mess with you, this and that. And I'd always think about it like, well, I'm really good at a lot of things. I could walk down my hands all the way down this airport, but I didn't really have an experience in as much in fighting. And so that really opened my eyes to like an area of improvement that I could have had. And that's when I started jiu-jitsu.
Let's say you had never done jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I'm talking
or
to you.
Muay Thai or whatever. Yeah.
No, let's say you've done Muay Thai.
Yeah.
But let's say I'm talking to you right now and you've never done jiu-jitsu and you haven't done Muay Thai. And when was the last time you did Muay Thai before you, like when you trained it? 10 years ago?
No, I mean, I sparred. I was doing some basic sparring like a year ago. I hit the bag.
But I mean, even before then. I mean, like
10
before
years.
10
Yeah.
years, like before you did jiu-jitsu. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you haven't done any Muay Thai and you never don't know anything about jiu-jitsu. Could of like 135-pound female black belt fuck you up right now?
If I hadn't been doing any jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. Or Muay Thai in the last 10 years?
I think
like,
so.
You know girls who are like 135 who are black belts? You're like, holy fuck. It's like, if I didn't do jiu-jitsu, this bitch would fucking tie me in a knot.
I think so, dude, because what they would do is if you try to, like, let's just say push them or grab them, they would just like do some type of basic sweep. And I imagine just like funnel around and take your back. So yeah, I'd say yes. The answer is yes. I think they would.
Yeah.
Well, you think so too, right?
I mean, dude, the shit, like, I can't fucking pass my 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds guard unless I cheat. Like, I have to like basically be like threatened like to break a limb off or something. Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you,
it's crazy.
I mean, and you know, if you get, you know, top mount or back mount, if you get someone's back, I mean, I don't care how small you are. I mean, like if one of my kids gets my back, like even if I'm trying to get them off, if they have their hooks in, dude, I'm screwed. So if you know how to get there, I mean, yeah, you could dominate.
I mentioned your name to some high-level jiu-jitsu practitioners the other day in a jiu-jitsu club, and they were telling me some people that you had recently beat. I don't want to say the names, but they were like, holy shit, yeah. They're like, this dude's really good, and yeah, Jason beat this dude.
Oh, I don't know, man. I just try and get after it. You know, it's like, it's just a nice way. You know, I think if anybody's listening to this and they're interested in trying jiu-jitsu, go get privates, go try it out, hit the gym, hit both. You know, it's just a beautiful blend. And it also keeps it fresh. You know, like if you're just doing CrossFit every single day, you're hitting the gym. Sometimes I think you forget about the benefits it's giving you outside the gym. You got to go outside the gym to really feel the benefits of what the gym and CrossFit's really providing you. And in particular, like jiu-jitsu too. Like,
are you going to Worlds next week?
I'm not, because I have a wedding. Otherwise, I would be competing in Worlds. Yes. I'm actually going to the Origin.
How do you put a wedding above the world?
Bro,
tell me,
I'm the best man in a wedding. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Yeah.
That's
so I'm in the wedding. Otherwise, I would totally go. But next week, I'm going to the Origin camp, which is like a week long of jiu-jitsu. That should be cool.
Oh, yeah. What's the guy's name who owns Origin?
Pete? There's Pete.
But bald dude, big dude.
Yeah, Pete. Oh yeah, he's big. Yeah, he's big. He's strong. And then
he was at the games. I think I met him.
Games for like 30 minutes. Yeah, or no, not 30 minutes. He was there for like a day. He's big, dude. He's super big. And Jocko's big too. You know, so both those guys will be there.
I didn't get to interact with Jocko too much, but I saw him walking around a few times.
Yeah,
he looks like he's probably like 5'10" with like a 24-inch inseam. He has shorter legs than me. He has a 42-inch waist and a 24-inch inseam. I couldn't believe how short his pants were.
He's just built like, dude. He's just built different, bro.
Like Hellboy. He's built like Hellboy.
His bones look like if he was to headbutt you, your head would explode. Like he just looks that strong. You know what I mean? Like, wow.
Yeah.
I would not want to be on the other side of him being angry at all.
Man, there were so many people around him too. I was thinking, man, he must really enjoy his alone time.
Yeah, I think naturally he's actually more introverted than you would think. Maybe he's not an introvert, but I think he does like that, like kind of like solace and quiet. And then because we were at dinner and he was relatively reserved. And then once we started talking about things that really interest him, he started, opening up more and more and more. But yeah, he gets hit up all the time. I mean, think about it. Like, dude, he's got anywhere he goes. I mean, he's recognized for sure.
This guy too, the Origin guy, that's a gi company, right? So Dave introduced me to him. He was, and I said hi and we shook hands. And Dave said to me, "Hey, this guy's a black belt." And I said to the guy, "Oh, I'm a black belt too." And he goes, "You are?" I go, "Uh-huh."
Black belt in what? Podcasting, drinking coffee. But yeah, he's a big. So they started off with gis in the jiu-jitsu space, and now they have a variety of other things, right? They make some hunting gear. They make they're making some like fitness stuff. They make a variety of things, but they make it in Maine. So it's all US made. So I'm actually going out to their factory next week.
Hey, do you have aspirations to get your black belt?
Oh yeah. I'm getting my black belt at some point. I'm getting my black belt. I'm hopefully getting my brown belt in December, but I'm getting my black belt. It's going to, I don't care how long it takes me. I'm getting my black belt.
Yeah. And this area that we're in is notoriously like you wouldn't want a fake black belt in the Bay Area.
No, you wouldn't want to, honestly, dude, you wouldn't really want a fake black belt anywhere. Like,
I agree, but this seems like a pretty tough area that we're in. What?
I don't even want a fake brown belt. Like, dude,
right.
I want to show up and be like, oh, that guy deserves that belt. And until you do, you shouldn't want it. And I think that changes. Like when you're early on in your game, you're like, dude, I want to get belts fast. And then the more you do jiu-jitsu, you realize, oh man, I don't really want belts fast, because it gives, it adds a layer of pressure that you want to be, the top dog in the room at that particular belt. And if you're not that good, you should just go down to a different belt.
What's funny too is when you're a kid, they have when you have a kid, there's this like belief that like you have less patience, so they have all these extra belts. But the truth is my kids have been doing it 4 to 7 days a week since they've been for 4 years, Avi, and he's still just a gray belt. He's only on his second belt. I mean, they have 3 belts within that one belt, but still, he's just patient, just cruising along, putting in the work.
The kids in jiu-jitsu, the belt system is a little bit different than in karate. It seems like, and this is probably a stigma, but in karate or taekwondo, it just seems like they're using the belts as a money grab sometimes and as a incentive program. I think
I've heard that about taekwondo, that if you do that, you can actually check the boxes,
right,
and get through. And it's not. And in jiu-jitsu, it's like what the teacher thinks about you, just straight up.
Straight up, dude. There's like no formal criteria. It's just like, hey, do you roll at this particular level? And have you been doing it long enough? Even if you're really good, they're not going to give it to you unless you've been doing it for long enough where, you have to earn it. I think just the belt system is just a little bit different. And anyways. Have
you been down to AOJ?
I haven't been there, but I've talked to those guys a few times, the Mendez brothers, and I've gotten connected. And then you have the Rotolo brothers, right? Are they down there too? Yeah, they're down there too.
I think they were. I don't think they are now.
Okay.
I mean, they're down there. I don't think they're at that gym now, but I think they were there.
Okay. Yeah, no, no, but I've gone out, I've gone and I've trained with, I trained with Gordon Ryan once. That was an interesting experience.
Wow.
Yeah. And so,
what was that like?
Oh, dude. I mean, for those of you who don't know who Gordon Ryan is, he's the greatest no-gi grappler of all time. And he was super cool. He was a great training partner. And it was just obvious that he was different.
You actually trained with him, or you actually trained with him?
Yeah, but we were doing rounds from he had mount, then I had mount, then he had mount, then I had mount. It was just rolls back and forth. And
could you stay on top of him?
I mean, dude, I think I stayed on top of him when he wanted me to stay on top of him.
Right. Okay.
It's just like one of those things. It's like we were talking about. He was just playing with me,
Is he big too? Some photos he looks massive.
Yeah, he's big. He's a big dude. He's tall. He's big. Tim Kenny's pretty big. All these guys are big. Nicky Rod's big. Like you've had Nicky Rod on the show. He's big. Yeah. These guys, dude. Yeah. But he's done a good job for that sport. I think with CrossFit, I think if there was athletes who somehow did what he's been doing for jiu-jitsu, I think it would be good for the sport of CrossFit, but it takes a certain personality and it takes someone who's really dominant to be able to get away with it.
Hey, I see you're drinking out of a 2-Brain business cup. Yeah, that's a cool cup.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you got my cup.
I got your cup. I thought about you and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the CEO cup this morning.
God, your hand makes that cup look tiny. So that's Chris Cooper's company. What do you think about this? They're doing the surveys again. This is the state of the industry thing. This thing's, I'm so blown away by this. What do you think about this?
I got an email this morning about it, actually. Chris Cooper texted me this morning. So I got to go take a look at it. But is that the one where he's asking?
Here, go ahead. Read it on the air right now. Let's hear it. I'll help you respond to it.
The email?
No, the text. Oh, the text just says check your email?
Yeah, the text says check your email. Hang on. He says, blah, 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 blah.
Look at he's editing. Jason just edited out some secret shit between him and Chris.
We published a state of the industry guide with data from 12,000 to 16,000 gyms. Here's last year's guide. We mailed it to a few thousand gyms. Obviously, we weren't cool enough to get the like you. we partner with these different
I
people.
begged for it. I begged for it. The hard copy.
I could write an intro or podcast. Or whatever. Oh, so I think he actually wants us to share the link to the survey.
Yeah, that's what so they hit me. I got that same email.
Okay.
And I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I've been sharing it with everyone.
Dude, we need more of that, because also you need to be able to show what's real and what's the expectation. And so I'm excited to deep dive into the email. I got it this morning. I was training or whatever. I was like, I'll check it after I'm done talking to Mr. Sevan.
Yeah, you work with your kids and you got on a podcast and it's 7 a.m.
Hey, bro, I'm just trying to be a hashtag CEO, just trying to be like you. But using this cup, all jokes aside, I like it because when I think about like a CEO mindset, it's that, you're in control of your own destiny. You got to go out there. You got to go put in the work. And the best thing about being a CEO like you are is that, the success or failure really relies on you. So with that, there's obviously pressure, but also excitement, because if you put in the work, if you strategize well, you'll be successful. No one else is in control of it but you. To get more of these sponsors on the bottom, like Spacer Feet or whatever.
Yeah, those aren't even sponsors.
Oh, they're just people you like?
Just people who give me money.
Oh, well, all right. Well, shout out to Paper Street Coffee. Who else should we shout out right now?
Hey, I'm just really defensive of it and proud of it, because I have relationships with all these people and we didn't reach out to any of them. It was all just people like either through the comments or whatnot. And like, so we have another group of sponsors, but these are all like people like who are I consider like, my homies.
Oh, dude, bro, you just got a $19.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
this guy's
great.
This guy pays.
Do you ever do anything like, do you ever say like, hey, if you guys give me $19, I'll take off my shirt or anything like that? Do you ever do anything like that?
Jason, please. No. They're going to start doing that shit to me. Cheers to the Olsen dudes. Cheers to two good dads and great leaders. Thanks, man.
Hey, you see how high it goes up? Suppose on the way back from Madison, the flights got all booked up. And it started off with like $500 giving people on the way back. And then it went $750, $1,000, $1,500 for credit. And after $1,500, you had a bunch of people that took advantage of it.
Oh, get off the flight and let this dude on.
Or just supposedly. So this is what they said. This is kind of sketch, dude. So they said that because of weather or whatever, they had to go around a certain location. And so they were adding more fuel to the plane, but as a byproduct, the plane got heavier. And so they needed 8 people to get off the plane, because otherwise there wasn't enough fuel to get them to where they wanted to go. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, 8 people at 200 pounds each, that's like 1,600 pounds. How the hell can 1,600 pounds make a difference between a plane making it to its destination or not? Like that's kind of scary.
It is scary, but hopefully they have some crazy like a padding.
I should have brought up the shirt then. Anyways, keep going. Yeah,
some crazy padding in there. Mike Poolboy, $1.99. Take it off.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If someone gives Sevan $100, I'll take off my shirt.
Wow.
Yeah, $100.
Mint trading cards. Take your shirt off, Jason. Oh, Mint trading cards. This is Wad Zombies group, and I have my Alex Gazan. Hey, has he ever approached you to do a trading card on you, Jason?
No, but I have one of these. Hang on.
How come he hasn't done that?
I have one of these from a while ago. That Reebok.
Wow.
This is like an old school, like real, and it has like some finishes on the back.
Wow.
Dude, I was here. Check this out, Sevan. You'll get a kick out of this.
Should I kick Jason off now and bring Rich in? Just like Jason like moves off to the side, and I'm like, bye.
So this is the 2008. Oh shit!
Oh,
well, go ahead, Jason. Show your medals in front of Rich Froning. Go ahead.
Old school one.
Go ahead. Show him your medal in front of the champ.
What
go
you
ahead,
got?
Jason.
What you got, Jason?
Hey, champ. I was just showing. Around my office or whatever, and I was showing him this old school 08.
Oh, nice. Hey, that at least has some like character to it, you know?
Hey, it's old school, man. Hey,
I love it.
Hey, you jumped on at the perfect time.
Perfect timing.
If someone offers $100 that Sevan will take off his that I'll take off my shirt. If someone gives Sevan $100, I'm sure someone will offer you at least 200. Take off.
Dude, we get $10. He already came in without his sleeves.
That's right. They fell off on the way here. I was doing a pump sesh, so you know.
Jeez Louise.
Got to get that muscle back after all that biking.
Hey, Rich, remember this one? That shirt right there? That
oh, dude, my Team USA, I guess stuff is probably my most coveted. It's the only stuff that's actually out. I have no idea where any of my medals are. If that's like as bad as that sounds, I think they're in a closet or in my sock drawer.
Hey, Rich, you got some funky audio going on.
Funky audio.
I think you sound good, man, except for a little crinkly against your beard.
Is that what it is?
Is that what it is?
It might be.
Yeah.
Look at that already solution. Just pull shit apart to fix it. That's what he does. Just pull it apart.
Hey, if I had known Rich was going to be on here, I would have worn my tank top too.
The plan was to kick you off before he came on. I was
Is
like,
that any better?
The plan was to only do 45 minutes with each of you. Rich, are you okay if I leave Jason on here?
1,000%.
Okay.
I do.
Relive some old memories.
Hey, I was just saying, I was like, if I knew Rich was going to be on, I would have worn a tank top, man.
Oh man, yeah.
Hey, the girls are different. I think the girl guests are different. They don't want like other girls on here when they're on.
Oh really? They want to have the whole floor to themselves.
Either that or they're it's part of their competitiveness. I don't know if it's so much selfishness or
We're past that. I think we're too old. We're out to like pasture at this point, you know.
Hey, Jason, when you see Rich doing the bike ride, Rich, you haven't done a podcast on the bike ride yet, have you?
We've recorded it. It'll come out next week.
Okay. Why are you waiting to put it out?
Because we put out the games one, and we don't like to like back stuff. We don't have like a show like you know. And so our media guys are completely just drained. So we don't have any media really coming out in the next week or two. So I think they just wanted to kind of bleed that out. So we recorded it back to back with our games episode, but it was a lot. So 3 hours of recording, which for me, anybody who knows me, 3 hours of sitting still is not, you're not going to get much out of me.
Which one did you do first? Because I watched the game ones, and you were already by the end of it fidgeting with your phone. You were already
that was it.
Which I'm.
It was after Leadville was after.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Bro, how was that? How did your butt feel after that one?
Honestly, fine. The hardest part for me was my guts. Just trying to take in calories, like making yourself eat, and then anytime you try to chew real food, it just was not sitting well. So I took in a ton of just like of goos or blocks of carbohydrate. Matt Chan was awesome. Matt was on my crew, dude. Matt and Cherie are awesome,
bro.
Why do you need a crew?
Well, so the
how
way
long
it goes,
the race?
It took me 8.5 hours, and so we do if you don't know the course, it's kind of hard to explain, but basically you've got aid stations every 10 miles. Where you have an aid station at what they call Pipeline, which is about 25 miles in.
And it's uphill, right, dude? Like, it's not like you're just cruising 100 miles. I did 100-mile.
It was 11,000 feet of climbing in this the whole course. And so you've got an aid station at 25 miles. You have an aid station essentially about 22, an aid station around 45-ish. And so I hit my aid station at 20, whatever. Hit the aid station called Twin Lakes before you make this basically 3,000 foot climb, came back down, hit that same aid station again, and then hit that other aid station. So I hit each of those aid stations twice, and I had like pre-made bottles and Ziploc bags full of like nutrition that I needed to take in. And Matt was basically yelling at me because I wasn't taking in enough nutrition, and it was awesome. So it was a cool experience. Definitely, I like everybody asks, where it ranks, and I'm like top 7. It's definitely not top 5, but it was for sure top 10. So I came with what's
number 1, dude? Was I part of number 1?
I don't know. I can't really like pinpoint number 1. I guess like there's several number 1s.
It's a 5-way tie for number 1.
Yeah, like the games every year is just it's a different type of grind, And this was, man, honestly, it was top 3. Was the pre-ride we did on Wednesday straight off the plane. Our buddy Dave Curtis, who lives out there, we hunt with him a lot. He was like, all right, hey, we're going to go pre-ride the course, do about 25 miles of it. It's the first 2 big climbs. And right off the plane, you're at 10,000 feet. I considered kicking the spokes out of my bike and saying my bike was broken or faking an injury because I thought I was going to die. It was
that bad, huh?
The first day was that bad. And then about 3 days in, I was completely fine altitude wise. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to die at altitude, blah, blah, blah. I would take that altitude over the humidity in Tennessee any day.
You would take the altitude
over humidity, 100%.
But it did take you 3 days to figure it out.
It took me 3 days to figure it out. What I would do next year, I want to do it again, but I would go out on Tuesday. Jason, you in next year?
I mean, dude, you know what's so funny? Right before you got on, I said I would give $100 if I took my shirt off or whatever. And then you jump on, and someone gave Sevan $99.99, which isn't $100. So I'm trying to decide if I want to take off the shirt. It's up to Sevan.
You definitely have to take your shirt off, or else we're gonna get fucking destroyed.
All right, I'm gonna take my shirt off. But
was this turned into a porn podcast or what?
It always. What do you mean? What do you mean turned into?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's offensive.
Hey, but Rich, in all seriousness, dude, bro, you gotta let me know the next time you're doing something cool like that. Like I'm thinking about doing a tactical games.
Yep.
And I'm thinking about doing I'm talking to Sal about doing a marathon ruck, which should be interesting. Let me take this shirt off so that people stop getting on.
Hey, would you do tactical games, Rich?
I don't know. I've seen, like, it looks fun. It's just not.
I don't even know what these buttons do. I was hoping it would be people cheering.
I know. I was thinking,
things are getting weird.
We've got those same buttons, and you can like pre-program apparently. I want to do, I think, a total archery challenge actually.
Oh, that sounds fun too.
Yeah.
How long do I need to keep my shirt off? Because it's a little.
It just said take it off. You know.
It's not awkward. It's not awkward. Just chill. Just relax. We'll start calling you Hiller. Andrew Hiller.
Hey,
Andrew
Rick.
Khalipa.
So if you want to do like an archery thing or one of those type of things, I'd be super interested.
Cool. I'll keep you posted. I think what I want to try to do, because there's 3 ways to get into Leadville. There's a lottery system. You have to qualify through a race. And then you can partner with a charity. So we want to get Mayhem Mission to be one of the partners on the charity. And so what happens is you'd get a certain amount of spots. That's what we did with this first descents.
Yeah.
And with that, you get a certain amount of spots. You have to raise X amount of dollars, and it goes towards a charity. And so we want to try to get Mayhem Mission to get however many spots and people to do it. So what's cool is now that I've done sub 9, if you do 10 years of it, you get a giant belt buckle.
It's all worth it. Hey, are you doing the Rogue Invitational, by the way?
Yep, I'll be there.
Oh, you didn't sound excited. You're not excited?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just not in CrossFit shape. I got to get back in some CrossFit shape, you know?
Okay. So you're it's like a homework assignment for you. You got a little bit of a road to toe.
Yeah.
Can you
like
get in CrossFit shape by the time?
I think so. We actually have a competition next weekend in College Station, Texas.
Dude, you in not CrossFit shape is scary. Because
me and Angelo.
I don't even want to know what you look like when you're in CrossFit shape, because you look good right now.
I'm like 100. I was like 187 pounds the other day, which is light. I just look kind of like skinny.
Dude,
somebody made that comment.
So people at the games were saying, though, you look thicker than they imagined.
Oh,
good. They thought you were going to look skinny.
All right, good. Dude, that's what we want.
Are you going to Rogue, Jason?
I am going to Rogue. You know what I'm trying to get at Rogue? I'm trying to get an open mat session going, bro. Trying to. Yeah, with like a jiu-jitsu open mat session. I think would be super fun.
What do? You just contact Bill and Katie and be like, hey, can we have a jiu-jitsu room?
I contacted Katie. She said she was interested, and Tim Kennedy said he's interested in hosting it.
That'd be
cool. You
know? Rich, I don't remember what I was hearing, but because of the nature of how you got into that race, I heard you were put into a position that would make it so that only 7 people who's ever been in that position have been able to do blah, blah, blah.
So there's waves, there's different groups. So the faster you are via a qualifier, you get moved up into groups. And luckily with the charity we were with, so the whites is what it's called. The white group is just, and over the years, they've kind of changed the format. So we went off in waves. And so I was the blue group, which is just before white, which helped a little bit, but man, there's still so much traffic. Especially the first climb. And then some of these climbs you get kind of not single, it's pretty single tracky. So, one lane, or one preferred lane. And so you just basically get almost just stuck in a line where you can't really pass. And so that's the hard part, especially on the beginning. Now, who knows, that might've helped me not to go out too hot. But man, there's a lot of crossovers between that event and CrossFit, like the community side of it, man, the town of Leadville was awesome. You'd be in random, like the middle of the woods, and people would be like, come on, Rich, or like riders would be riding what you'd be riding with. They'd be like, hey, Rich, just whatever. And so it was really cool. By the end of the day, there's probably 8 or 10 people you've ridden with throughout the day once you kind of settle into a pace and get ahead of some of these packs and stuff. And so me and a guy would, he'd pass me usually on the flats. I'd pass him on the climbs, and we just kind of play this tug of war. And one of the times he comes up and he's like, "Hey, why does everybody know your name? Why every aid station we drive by, there's like 10 people saying, 'Go Rich,' whatever, or people talking to you." And I'm like, "Well, you ever heard of CrossFit?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, I've competed in CrossFit for 13 years. And he's like, he's just like, "Oh, all right." So whatever. And then I had another guy that pulls up. He's like, "Hey, are you Rich Frowning?" And I'm like, it's Froning, but yeah. And he's like, "Oh, big fan, man." And I'm like, right. So much that you don't even know my name? Like, I appreciate it, but it was fun. It was cool, man. There was so many, like I said, just people out in the middle of the woods in Colorado be like, "Hey, you need some water? Here's some water. Here, you need, like a gel? Here's a gel." Like, it was cool. Like, one of the worst climbs is called Power Line, coming back in. And it's straight up, and it's just dirt. And there's this lady, and she's like,
"Get off your bike at all?"
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, well, part of it you have to, like, almost have to, depending on where you start, because there's so many people in a line. Like, when you get up to what's called Columbine, there's the Goat Trail, and it's just a single track, almost a little bit wider than that. But there's people coming down while you're going up, and so people are walking, and you can't ride around them. So what you would do is you push. And then you see your like chance, and you run around them a little bit, and then you walk a little bit, and then you'd see people get on their bike, so you'd hop on for a second, and then everybody would unclip, and you'd step off your bike. And it's the last 2 miles. It's a 54-mile out and back, or 52-mile out and back. So the last 2 miles are awful, and then there's this climb called Power Line that was awful. Other than that, it's just a grind. Like, I don't even know. It's more mental than anything. If you can, if you've got the physical ability, you can do it. But the mental side of it, we've never done anything. I've never done anything for 8.5 hours, just sustained. And so it was so far out of my comfort zone that it was just, you're just playing games with yourself, which was kind of fun. It was cool. You like learn a little bit, and people are like, "Oh, it's beautiful." like, just take it in. Matt Cherie's like, "You're going to love it. It's beautiful." I can remember one instance where I'm like, come off the top of this nasty climb, and I'm like, riding downhill with my hands kind of like shaking them out.
Yeah.
And I look back, and I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And then you just keep going. Like, I just don't, I'm not there to enjoy the sights and all that type of stuff. So it was, and then you're playing like mind games with math on your time. And, like I said, not sub 9 was my goal. And you're trying to like pass people. You're trying, like, I don't know the etiquette with mountain bike and that type of stuff. I ride a lot by myself. I've got some friends here that in town that are mountain bikers. But I'm like, just don't be a dick, like, I don't want to like cut anybody off. And man, there was a couple, these dudes that they're from Utah, and I'm climbing. He goes, "Rich, what's up, man?" And it was like the turtle off Finding Nemo. He's like, "Hey, bro." He's like, "You want to go sub 9, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Follow my boy right here." It's his teammate or whatever. He's like, "He's going to do an 8:30. You stay with him, you'll get 8:30. And so I'm kind of like stuck in this group. He's like, "Rich, we got to go, man. Just split them. Just go. You're good. Just stick it in there." And so we get to the top, and you start this descent on the backside of St. Kevin's. And the guy's like, or no, I guess after Sugarloaf, and you're coming down. And he's like, "Rich, we got to go, bro. Let's go." And I'm like, "Okay." So we just start hammering down this hill, going about 25, 30 miles an hour. And it's a Jeep trail. So you've got 2 lanes, and then you just have trash rock in the middle. And there's people everywhere because people are riding their brakes. And he goes one way, and I try to go to the other way. Well, I get stuck in the rocks, and just like, you're trash. Launch everything, like yard sale, bottles, computer, everything. I sit down, like cars, you're in the middle of the interstate, and it's like boom, boom, boom. And people are like, "You're all right, you're all right." I'm like, "I'm good." So I've got a couple, scuffs. It didn't hurt at all, but my bike, I'm like,
Did you get your shit back?
Oh yeah, I got my shit, grabbed it, and then took off. And I catch back up to the guy. I'm like, "Dude, I yard sale." He's like, "You good, bro?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." So then we get to this. There's a section of like 4 miles that are like road, 4 or 5 miles. And he's like, "Rich, let's go. Get on my wheel, bro. Let's work together." And we just start this kind of like Peloton where you're just drafting. Yeah, you're like 30 seconds drafting, and it like grows to like a group of 20 because everybody he'd ride by, he'd be like, "Hey, let's go. Let's share," And it was really cool. Like I said, like gave me CrossFit vibes of community and all that type of stuff. So
If it wasn't for that guy, do you think you'd have had a slower time?
I'd probably been about 5-6 minutes slower. I don't think I would have not made 9, but I think for sure he was a dude.
Dude,
Rich,
if
let-
people haven't tried drafting, not to like,
It's huge.
Have you done drafting before?
Huge.
Have you tried to draft?
Me?
Yeah.
If I I don't remember. Oh yeah,
No.
biking. Yeah, biking. I have. Yeah,
Dude.
biking.
The first time, I remember this is like back in like 2012 or something. I was like, oh, maybe biking will come up at the CrossFit Games. So a buddy of
You were
mine.
ahead of your time.
What's that?
You were ahead of your time,
Yeah.
Jason.
Someone's like, hey, you got to learn how to draft. I'm like, dude, tell me about it. He's like, bro, you're going to save like 10, 20%. I was like, okay. So we started drafting on road bikes and you're like right up on that person. But man, it makes
Gives you a little rush.
Huge difference. Oh yeah. And so we did 100-mile with Dan Bailey not that long ago. We did a 100-mile ride on road bikes. And dude, when you're drafting, it just makes the night and day difference.
Huge.
What's also
difference.
weird is there's a spot where you think you're close enough when you first start learning how to draft, and then all of a sudden you just move up just that 1 or 2 inches. You're like, oh shit, I'm in.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
and then
like,
it's like
I'm in.
pulling you
Yeah,
along.
yeah.
You're almost like hitting your brakes. Like I was
Yes.
tapping my brakes
Yes.
when I would get shuffled back to like 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
You're almost doing nothing. You look down and you're going 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I'm not the most aerodynamic, so.
Rich, how bad? So before you answer this, I want to get some stats about this thing. Okay, so this thing was 105 miles long, 52 miles out, 52 miles back in.
Yep.
How many athletes?
1,800, 1,700, something like that.
1,800. So it's not a beautiful ride where no one, unless you're in the no one ever gets to break away. Meaning, because even the guy who breaks away in the front, he's still got to come back through the mess.
Right, dude. But this guy was on another. Imagine taking an everyday like CrossFitter and putting him at the CrossFit Games. This guy, reverse that. CrossFit Games athlete and putting him in a class. It was this guy, as I'm starting that main climb at Columbine, granted he started 12 and a half minutes ahead of me. He was coming down Columbine as I'm about to make an hour 15 ascent to the top. And then
you saw him?
Yeah. And
how did you know it was him?
Because he was the only guy going the opposite way. And then you don't see anybody else coming down for another, I want to say 10, 15 minutes. This guy crushed everybody. You look at his, they just posted something on him on Garmin, like his numbers.
Is he on an electric bike, dude?
No, dude. But
What's
he looked
his
like
name?
shit, I can't remember. It was on Garmin's Instagram yesterday. They did a little like a story thing. He averaged for 5 hours and 42 minutes, 304 watts. Think about that, Jason. 304 watts, like on a bike erg.
Yeah.
He averaged that for 5.5 hours, 5 hours and 43 minutes.
And I can't even imagine it with the terrain, with all these different other factors,
dude.
right?
Oh, man. Like, it was...
There's so many fucking Garmin accounts. Which ones do I pick?
I'll probably mess it up if I go to my messages. But
okay, Garmin Fitness, Garmin Outdoor, Garmin Running. Oh, is there Garmin Biking?
Stand by.
Garmin
I'll send
Marine.
it to you. This is going to mess up the whole video, but
Garmin Golf, Garmin Columbia.
There goes the video.
Hold on. I'm still here.
Hey, so you took like 279th out of 1,900 or something?
Something like that, I think.
And,
Here,
and
Sevan, I'm sending you the thing.
In text?
Yeah.
And everyone, I don't open your text for when you send me text for days on end, just so I can see that you've sent
Well, I sent it to you and Souza. So maybe Souza will open it and send it to you. Dude, it was...
I like to save a closed text by Rich
Save
for
it?
a bad moment.
You just like to be able to look back at his name and know that he texted you. Is that
Oh,
what it
he
is?
texted me. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Rich just text me.
Yeah, he's here.
This guy Kegels?
I guess maybe Kegels. That's a good name.
He's a great.
Oh, dude, look at Mason just put up 304 is a 144 average bike erg pace for 6 hours. No.
Think about that.
No.
Yeah.
I have a problem holding 144 for a minute.
For 1,000. This dude, I'm telling you, he came flying by me and I'm like, holy crap. Because I'm starting a descent and he's flying down this descent. But
so he basically he lapped you.
Oh hell yeah, he would have lapped me
half the time. 5:43.
5:43. How impressive! It was impressive.
Hey, Rich, what's the next event you said you were interested in? The one with the
Total
bow?
Archery Challenge. It'll be fun. I don't know,
Rich,
man.
So
I've
this guy's
liked
just an ass with torso on it. This guy's just ass and quads with the torso. Like he's.
Oh yeah, there's no upper body. Hillary made the comment. She said, there was a couple times I'd roll through the aid station and they'd be like, "Oh, there's Rich," because everybody's wearing black kits or whatever. And then when I came through, finally, they were like, "Oh, yeah, he doesn't look anything like any of these guys out here."
Oh,
so I definitely do not fit the mold. But yeah, that was impressive. He was hauling.
I'm gonna invite him on the podcast.
You should. It was impressive.
Keegan Swenson.
Yeah, he, like I said.
Hey, what's he win? Does he get anything?
I think there's they call it the Grand Prix. I'm learning all this stuff. But obviously he gets a belt buckle, which is a pretty damn cool trophy. But I think he's the leader in the Grand Prix. There's like 4 or 5 races, and the winner of that gets like $250,000 or something.
And to be honest, like, Santa Cruz is paying him some money because as soon as I saw that bike, I want that bike now.
Right. He's a pro mountain biker. Like, I think it's one of the only races. That's one of the cool things is like amateurs and pros in the same race, if that makes sense.
How badly would you have beat
the archery challenge or the tactical games? You and I, we need to go do it.
I'm down.
We need to go pick one and just go do it.
Pick one and do it.
Rich, how badly would you have beat the field on the bike event? Be honest. Do you think if you would have started with the front guys?
That bike, so I rode the course for a little bit, and first of all, those bikes were trash. Second of all,
you think she's talking about the
games event?
Okay.
They were good bikes. I thought those Treks were like I thought they were like gravel bikes, weren't they?
No, they were low level mountain bikes. Like Trek makes a good mountain bike, but those were not. It was a glorified crit, off-road crit is what it was. And I mean, I think it was a great event, but it wasn't a mountain bike. Like no part of that course was a mountain bike. So, if you can get in the draft and then ride with people, then yeah, for sure. It's just all going to depend on luck. And the first part's going to depend on luck. And if you don't get taken out by any of our other athletes, since all of our athletes decided to just wreck each other for some reason, and then just be smart.
Lazar, the human wrecking ball.
I think Luke wrecked Lazar once at least. Scott has it on video. But yeah, I mean, it was a really cool event. I was for it. I just don't know how my mountain biking fitness, because there wasn't a ton of mountain biking skill to it. It was just pure just go on that event.
A lot of turns, right? Like when I was
but they weren't technical turns.
No, but there wasn't really an opportunity to kind of get if you didn't know how to use gears well, it did seem like that's a disadvantage.
For sure.
If you knew
If you had basic bike knowledge and a lot of fitness, you could do really well in that event and not be a jackass, and then also maybe be a little bit of a jackass because you're going to have to kind of position yourself in a good spot. And then, those front guys, it was very similar to me, knowing bikes to the crit, but on the grass.
Hey, whatever happened? Did Roman ever say that Adler touched him?
Like
put his hands on him?
I actually just walked by him in the coffee shop. He just got back from Dubai.
Rich, I'm fascinated by this. Please tell me. Like, I understand why Roman wouldn't want to speak English like on national television. I get that. Like, if you're being asked a question, but if you're like talking to him, I
think he can understand really well. I think he's just nervous and feels out of place speaking it, and feels like there's a confidence issue with it. And so I think he just kind of he's got his words that he goes to. I think he understands it really well. But like I said, I think he's just nervous about, remember how Miko was in the beginning where he just kind of he could speak it. He speaks more languages than I do. So it's like, bro, don't feel bad about how you're, speaking. I butchered the English language and I've been speaking it for 36 years. Like, don't think about that. But it's hard. So, I think he speaks fluent. I just think he's more, nervous about it.
And I got a question because I was on the ESPN stream and we were looking at you talking to him and with his foot. Was there any way, dude, if you just never even took it out of the shoe, just like wrap that sucker up, popped a couple Advils, he could have just continued and done that double underhook?
I don't know. I talked to Dre after because I kind of had the same thought. I'm like, man, like for one, I wouldn't have got it x-rayed. I'd have been like, don't tell me what's wrong with it yet.
Right.
And then, I've got 2 events and I'm going to do what I can. I talked to Dre that works here. And one of the toughest dudes I know, he broke his foot in a competition, same break. And he was like, he finished the competition. But he said if he had to do double unders, he said pretty much everything else he probably could have done. But he said double unders would have been the most excruciating thing he's ever done in his life. And I trust Dre's, the hard part is like with Roman, we can't have a deep conversation like that. And we don't have the miles yet that me and Dre do. Like, I'm like, Dre, tell me straight up. Like, am I an idiot for thinking this? And he was like, dude, I don't think I could have done it. And so, it's, who knows? I wish, like I said, I could have gotten there before they did the x-ray and all that type of stuff. It's like, don't tell me what's wrong with my foot. I'll figure it out when I get done. But, because, they're like, well, if you keep going, this could be instead of a 6-week recovery, it could be a 6-month recovery.
The medical staff,
and they should be because they're covering their ass with.
They're
people
so
are
excited to jump into action.
Exactly.
I'm saying Rich is being nice. I'm saying it as a dig, but of course they have no choice but to be that way.
No, yeah, absolutely.
It's like imagine if you have a saw and you just see a piece of wood. They just want to run over there and chop it off. They're so excited to diagnose someone.
Yeah, and they were like, you could break that bone off, and I'm like, hey. I'm trying to like stop them before I'm like, hey, you're going to be fine. Like playing a little good cop, bad cop. I'm like, you're fine. You're fine. Let's just tape it up and go, so.
Dude, it was a 3-ring circus back there, Jason.
It was.
There were probably 3 or 4 cameras, 5 camera crews on Roman. And then Rich walked in and every single fucking camera crew moved in. There were 8 of us. I swear to God, it was nuts. And so Rich is this close to Roman, and he's trying to talk to him. Yeah, and you just see Rich go, God, in the nicest way.
Just give me 2 minutes, and then you guys can come back.
And it was literally, it was every camera in the underground was there. I
couldn't help but think like,
I will say I bragged on Sevan. I was like, and when I said everybody get back for a second. Everybody got back for a second. I appreciate that. Like, it's just like I needed a minute to give him a little pump up speech without everybody being right there.
You were funny about it too. You were cool. You weren't. You weren't.
Yeah, I was like, get out of here. It's like, guys. I realize you guys got to get your content. I get it, but give me just 2 minutes.
So good.
It was pretty funny. Now, at the time, it wasn't. I was like, gosh, dang it,
dude. I honestly, I was on Friday night and I was like on a podcast with Adrian, and I was saying like, bro. Something would have to happen to Roman or whatever for him not to win these games.
So this is your fault. So it's your fault.
Oh, I didn't say it like that, but I did say it like that. Actually.
I'll tell you what had to happen for Roman not to win the games. Ricky Garrard had to show up.
Oh my gosh, we'll see how that goes.
Here we go. Yeah. No, it sucked. It was hard to watch for sure.
But I was telling the guys up at the booth, and I was like, look, I don't know anything about this particular injury, but
right.
Like, he was able to kind of walk on it. I was thinking to myself, man, if he was able to walk on it, you guys tape that sucker up and just let it ride. But
you'd have had to cut my leg off, I think, to like,
Roman doesn't seem like
he's dude. So the dude is tough. So that's my only thing is like, the dude is tough. So there's I don't doubt by any stretch that he was giving it all he had.
I do think that was good for his career, though.
I mean,
it was good for. There was definitely a lemonades out of lemon or whatever you want to call it because he showed people determination, grit. He wanted to do it for his son.
Don't give up. Yeah.
I thought it was super powerful. I mean, dude, in that arena, it was just electric.
People loved it.
It was because of him,
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, no, I'm proud of him for getting out there. And, because like I said, in the back, the doctor's like, well, I don't know if we're going to allow you to do that. And so I was talking to Don after, and I'm like, and I don't have the answer. And we were both saying we don't have the answer. But it's almost like as long as it's not life-threatening, and I mean, it goes back to 15, and I said this in 15 with Miranda, as long as it's not life-threatening, it should be up to the athlete. Like at life-threatening injury, if you have a minimum work requirement, then absolutely, like they have to meet that. But I don't think you should be able to pull people out of competition as long as it's not life-threatening. I know, like, we have this kind of, well, CrossFit causes injury. Every sport at a high level causes injury. So it's like, that's the risk we take. Like me and Jason are paying for however many years that we competed, doing dumb stuff. Like, yeah, my knees are not going to be the same. My shoulders are not going to be the same. But I took that risk on myself, and these athletes take it on themselves. Like, yeah, we've got to all right, we should have crash pads under the ropes. We should, there should be basic rules on safety. But past that, it's up to the athlete to incur the risk, So that's my two. And Don was 100%. We're just I don't know how we do that minus putting in minimum work requirements. I know people hate it, but it's hey, you signed up for this competition. You take that on yourself.
You think you'll do Leadville again?
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
And in what place? And will you do better than you did last year?
I mean, I hope if I don't know how it works. I don't know if I get to move up in a corral to a farther up corral, but I think I could do a little bit faster.
Were you in the last corral?
Not the last. I was the fourth to last, I think, corral.
That's a tough place to be.
You're
man.
basically in the Special Olympics corral, aren't you? I mean, you're in the charity corral. I mean, you got into that race because of some charity thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. First Descents, they raise money for people to do outdoor activities with cancer or life-altering diseases, which is pretty cool.
How many people don't finish?
Yeah. I don't know. Scott was talking, and Scott's ruthless. Scott was talking about I think he might have filmed it, but I don't think he'll put it in the video. But somebody made it to one of the checkpoints and they didn't make it in the time, and so they literally just walk up and they clip your. You have zip ties with your number on the bike. They take your number and they hand it to you, and they're like, "Sorry, you can't continue." Man. Yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking. Cherie was talking about when she did it. Because if you get sub 9, you get
girls can do it.
Oh heck yeah! I got beat by a bunch of girls. It was impressive. But Cherie, she said when she got through the last checkpoint and they didn't pull her off the course, she got emotional and started happy crying that she had made it. She didn't make the sub 12. I think it was 12:20, so she didn't get the belt buckle, but she finished the damn thing, which is super impressive. It was if I was, I'll do it again for sure. It was a cool experience. You kind of
you like the training for it?
Yeah, actually, I really did. I enjoyed training for something different. I like riding a mountain bike. I don't love riding on the road. I had to do a bunch of that to kind of, on the mountain bike, just to get miles in and get some climbs in. But man, I love mountain biking. I'm probably going to keep up 3 times a week in the off season.
Who's next for him, Sevan?
What?
I got one question for Rich, and I got to take off. I know I'll let you guys finish the show. When we were doing Camp Pendleton, am I mistaken? This happened to you because I recall this, but I just want to make sure I'm not lying. That on the checkpoints there were Marines stationed, and we were messed up, right?
Messed up.
Hard, and I'd walk up to the Marine and be like, hello, sir. How much further do we have?
It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill from here. You have 1 mile left, sir.
Every time.
Okay.
Not even close. Every time they would say all downhill from here, you'd turn a corner and you'd go straight uphill. Every time.
Sevan, so we were doing.
So that was a coordinated effort. They just knew to fuck with you guys?
I think they just knew. I'm sure Dave had something to do with it, but yeah.
Man, they got me so good. When the first guy's like, "Oh, you have about a mile left, sir," I was like, "Yes, let's go." And then you get to the next.
Not have a mile left.
You have a mile left, or just downhill, and then all of a sudden it's like, bro. At that point, after
you've given up.
I just said, thank you for your service. I just kept walking.
So, what was kind of crazy about Leadville is it's billed as a 100-mile race. You get there and they're like, it's 52 miles out, 52 miles back. So you're like, that's 104. On my Garmin, my computer, I started as soon as I hit the start line, so you're right. The last part of the race is kind of on an incline about like this. And it's just this dirt road. And you end on a paved road. So you're riding, and I'm looking at my Garmin. I'm like, I'm 103.8 miles in. I'm like, we got to be close. I look at the guy next to me. He's like, we're getting that big belt buckle. And I'm like, hell yeah, we are. And then I'm like, what does your Garmin say? And he's like, 103.9, because it's a little bit farther up. You still can't see the damn finish line. So then you come up on this road, and then it takes a hard left and then a hard right, and it's this nasty hill. Wow. It's billed as 100-mile. They tell you it's 104, and I'm 99% certain that I went 105.6 miles. And so you're just mentally.
Sounds like the CrossFit game.
But in the opposite.
Right. Hey, the only thing I remember from Camp Pendleton is this right here.
Wait,
Lucas Parker getting no, he got butt ass naked, right?
He did. Someone, like some Marine complained. Oh, we had a nude man out there. I was like,
completely naked.
Yeah,
not with
so
that picture. Yeah, yep.
That was, hey,
Do you remember when?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go.
I'm just gonna had a call.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Spieler losing his ring, right?
His wedding ring?
Wedding ring as we're getting in the water, and we're like trying to help him find it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That was a big deal. That was a big deal to him. I mean, it was a big deal.
Oh, a big deal to all of us. But yeah, you're just like, what are we doing? You know? And then like we're helping him find this ring.
Did he find it? No.
No, he didn't find it. But that was the one where they're talking like there's a shark out there. Like,
oh yeah.
And you know, Castro was like pump up speech was like, hey man, when you get in the ocean, like you're just
know something
water,
down
like,
there that's gonna kill you.
And
that was his speech. He's like, just know, when you look down there, just know that something out there could kill you. And you're like, sweet. And then there was like pictures of like stay away from ordnance, you know, like unspent ordnance and stuff. You're like, oh, we're gonna die.
Well, Rich, I'm gonna text you later about this
cool.
archery challenge. Sevan, I got a jam, but dude, I'm down to rap anytime. I'm glad we were able to make you $100 on that.
Thank you.
Show.
You look beautiful with your shirt off. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.
Did you shave your chest today?
I did not shave my chest today, but now I'm inspired by you, so maybe I'll go trim it up.
There you go. There you go. Have that thing ready for Rogue, you know?
Yeah, I trimmed something today.
Yeah, you did.
I'll see you guys later.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Later, dude. Josh Lehrman, $49.99. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Josh.
I hope the fruit harvest is fantastic. Thanks for sharing these stories, Rich Froning. Amazing job.
Frowning. Thank you.
Frowning. I can remember learning your name.
I know, right?
Deja Intendu. I'd love to see Rich and everyone here look into the Barkley Marathon.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
There's an amazing documentary free on YouTube, inspirational, challenging. I believe it's in Tennessee.
Yep, it is. It's kind of crazy. Have you ever heard of that thing?
I have heard of it. I remembe the documentary. Why is it crazy? What do they do?
Basically, you don't really know what the course is, and you have to you have to go the course in one way, somebody goes another way, and then you do it the other way, and then your checkpoint is like he's got a book hidden somewhere, and you have to take a page off the book, and the way he starts the race is like with a cigarette when he lights his cigarette. There's no entry fee. It's like 1 year people had to bring flannels, 1 year they had to bring socks, 1 year it was like a license plate from your state.
But it's a serious sporting event?
I mean, people love it. You know, I just remember watching the documentary. I just don't have enough cartilage.
Rich hasn't
left
done
in my
enough
knee.
LSD to do that.
That's right.
Ricky has a Swark mountain e-bike.
Ooh, yeah. I have a Specialized Epic World Cup. That's what I got.
Oh, that's not electric, though.
No. I don't. I'm sure as I get older, and I'm not hating on e-bikes, but I just don't. I'm out there to get some fitness. So I know everybody's like, well, then you can just ride the downhills harder and you can whatever. But I don't know. I'm purist. I'm actually
you didn't ride an Epic in the Leadville, did you?
Yeah, Epic.
Oh, you
World
did.
Cup.
Oh, that's a great bike.
Oh, it's an amazing bike. It's a glorified hardtail with a shot. The new one is incredible. But I actually went the opposite way. I'm like almost full bike hippie now. I have a single speed as well. Yeah, I got a good friend that I've made at the bike shop here. He's done Leadville on a single speed, and he's gotten me into single speed.
Is that a different category?
I don't know if it's a different category or not. I would not enjoy doing the entire race on a single speed.
Barry McCockiner.
Yeah.
You, Barry.
Yeah, you did.
Rich needs to replace the Detroit Lions sweatshirt with a Philadelphia Eagles one.
Man, I've been on this train for 36 years. I ain't getting off of it. It's been a rough life.
Hey,
sports. You know what sports are?
Me?
You ever heard of that one with the brown ball that they throw? It's kind of like a long sphere.
I know, the pigskin. They call it the pigskin.
Yeah. I didn't know if you knew those real sports.
Hey, one of my friends is going to make it on.
Yeah, heck yeah, he is.
That's crazy, right?
That's
Tyson's
awesome.
going to make it.
That's awesome, dude. Impressive.
I'm so fucking pumped. He's coming out. So he had a preseason game, did well. He's got another preseason game. When is it? Friday or Saturday? Saturday? When do they do their preseason games?
Just kind of depends. It's random right now.
It's either tomorrow or Saturday. And then I think it's Saturday, and then And then Sunday he's coming on the show. We'll get
That's
to hear
awesome.
about his first 2 preseason games. Yeah, I'm
Heck
pumped.
yeah.
Jeremy Eats World totally deserves Spirit of the Games, eh, Sevi? No, Roman did not deserve Spirit of the Games. Well, it depends on
did?
how you define it.
Who did?
Here's the thing: when you were doing CrossFit, I thought Spirit of the Games was like whoever's like the nicest to the other athletes, right? Did you think that too? It was like a Rebecca Voigt or a Sam Briggs or a just a or a Noah Olson, kind of like.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a cool story throughout the weekend overcome. So yeah.
But if it is who's a badass and like and who like embodied and like got the stadium going, yeah, I think Roman's
I think that's
great
what I think
choice.
that's what it should be. Is like, hey,
I think that's what it should be too. It just hasn't been in years past.
I got you. I see what you're saying.
Like if then it should have been Cara Saunders one year, the year she fucking passed out and came back.
Touche. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I guess it depends. I really liked Colton Mertens winning an event.
Dude, that was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Hey, what do you think about what happened over at Proven with Tola, Paulson,
What
Andrea,
happened?
and Taylor? Like, do you think like going into it, would you have thought they were going to win?
Yeah, I mean, knowing those girls, 100%. Like, those are the 2 baddest chicks out there, the fittest. And so, yeah, I mean, I knew Invictus would do really well, and I knew from years past Oslo would do well. I didn't think they would have enough to beat them. So, I mean, I don't know what happened, to be honest. Yeah. Invictus won.
Invictus didn't. I mean, I haven't had anyone from that team on the show yet, but it doesn't sound like they had a smooth year. Like every time you talk to someone about them, it's like, holy shit, they went through some shit this year.
Yeah, they went through some shit from what I heard. I don't know 100%, but yeah. And then Jorge had a little hamstring deal going on at semis, and so I mean, from what I can tell, they just had good chemistry, and then somebody to just kind of lead them, and I think Jorge. From what I heard from the back, I don't know 100%. I like Jorge a ton. He's been out here a bunch and become good friends with him. But I think, if I was to pinpoint who the leader on that team, Jorge seemed like he was that guy. And so, I mean, that's what it takes on a lot of these teams is somebody – you can't have too many people having input, and then you got to have somebody that's just kind of, I guess, steady. And luckily for years, we've had a bunch of really good athletes that didn't really need a ton of leading. Or were leaders in their own right. And so, I don't know, I don't know what happened to them without knowing their inner dynamics.
You mean over at the Proven
At
guys?
Proven. Yeah.
You haven't talked to them? Any of them?
I talked to them a little bit before, but nothing super, deep, just kind of good luck and all that stuff. We talked at the games a little bit. And
any chance that the 2 of those ladies would come back and you would, get the band back together?
I'm done. I'm good. People asked multiple times how I was doing at the games, and I was good. I've enjoyed.
I believed you. I believe you. You sounded like someone who just like ate too many desserts right there. You're like, dude, I'm good. Seriously, I'm not having no more. Don't bring another plate over here.
I'm just good, man. I had a good time. I had a good time competing, and then I had a good time this year, just kind of being the queen, shaking hands, kissing babies.
I heard that you said. Well, I'll come to back to that 1 second. So I had the opportunity to film with Invictus throughout the entire week. For some reason, I think Patrick Clark pointed them out to me early, and he's like, "Hey, you should hang out with these guys." So like anytime, I probably filmed with them a dozen times throughout the week, and their mood was never different. I can't ever remember that being that way. No matter which games athlete I've ever filmed, they would have different moods, and
emotional roller coasters.
The whole fucking time they were just the same 4 people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would come down to leadership, and I think CJ does a great job with teams. And
he was great. He was all up in their shit the whole time, holding down the fort. Yeah.
Yep. CJ's a good dude.
Hey, what about CJ getting Spirit of the Games? Only dude there who'd been to 17
That's
fucking
impressive.
games.
That's impressive. That's cool.
Would that bum you out if they gave it to a coach?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's the spirit of what we're doing, So I think CJ for sure. I mean, 17 games. That's impressive. Hell, how many have I been to? 14 now? 13 now?
I think he's the only one, dude.
That's impressive.
It's nuts.
So what's kind of crazy? I keep coming back to Leadville. So it's been 29 years. Some guy's ridden in every single one. Think about that.
Does he finish every year?
Yeah. Finished with a wheelie this year.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How old
it was
is
cool.
the dude?
I can't remember how old. I wanted to say late 60s, early 70s, maybe.
Same course every year?
For the most part, they've had to make minor tweaks, just with as many people as they do, because it's out and back. And so there's a couple spots that have a little too many people coming in at the same time. So that at one point you go out one way, and when you come in, you go out the other, or in the other way. So there's minor changes, but for the most part, it's been pretty similar.
Hey, did the guy who won set a world record time this year?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think last year there's only been a certain amount of people that have gone sub 6. And I think last year he was 1 second short. And so this year I think he was hyped up, ready to go.
Oh yeah. He murdered it, dude.
Murdered it.
5:43.
5:43. Yeah. It's impressive. There's a documentary that Lance did it in 2010 called Race Across the Sky. It's pretty cool. But to put that in perspective, he was like 6'14" or something like that.
Holy shit.
This dude was impressive.
Did you get to see him? Did you talk to him at all?
Nope, just in passing. In that one pass.
Wow, crazy.
It was cool.
Did he say, "Hey, Rich"?
No, he did not. He was in the zone, which I don't blame him. He was flying.
He was going fast?
Yeah.
Pool boy, wait, Rich, you have to hate Sevan. He's a Bears fan.
I don't hate anybody.
Oh, there you go.
No. And it's fine. If you got some connection there, absolutely be a fan.
I'm immediately a fan.
Heck yeah.
Going to Cookeville 3 weeks to visit Mayhem, camping.
Let's go.
Is that common for visitors, Mayhem to camp?
Oh, there's several outdoors places around here. Lakes. We got waterfalls. We've got hiking. We've got climbing. So, no, not out of the ordinary.
Where's Grub Park when he's there? Doesn't he live in his car?
I don't remember which campground he went to. There was a couple of different ones he went to when he was here.
So he doesn't park like on the property or
no. No, he'll go to like a campground.
You said in the podcast, good podcast, by the way. The podcast is really good. Yeah. You guys are really good together. You were overstimulated.
Yeah.
At the games. I thought that was a perfect example for what it's like, probably. Just completely
drained.
It's just too much input coming in. You can't process it all the way you want to.
You just want to make sure that people have some type of memorable experience, and you don't want to be a jerk. And, years past, what I could do is I could go, I could not use the competing part as an excuse, but I could say, hey, I got to go get ready to compete, which was true. Like Angelo talked about, he's like, hey, I'm going to come on the podcast every night. And I'm like, we'll see how that goes. And, just trying to be on, trying to talk to people, trying to be, I don't want to say outgoing, but yeah, a little bit more outgoing. It just takes it out of me. That's just not in my, natural nature, I guess, is to be like that. So by the time, all day of being at the campground, doing some of these activations, trying to, help athletes where I could. I didn't go backstage a ton, but I was either FaceTiming or talking to them. It's just so hard to move around, and I didn't want to burden staff with having somebody to follow me and all that type of stuff. It's just not what I wanted to do. And then doing the podcast at night, I'd get done and just feel just mentally empty on the inside. So I'd just go sit and watch TV at the hotel for a little bit.
So you didn't stay in the campground?
No, we stayed at the home too, just up the road. But I just wanted to be clean and wanted to be, just have some AC that worked really well and just a little bit of privacy. So, but I mean, I was there every morning at 7:30, and we didn't leave the campground usually till 9:30 or 10 at night. So,
Philip Kelly, hey Rich, it's me again.
Go what's Bills. Up? No, go Bills.
Is that a football team?
Yeah, Buffalo.
Anthony TPA. Rich, can you tell Sevi to cut his 70s males entertainer man bun, please?
Oh, man bun.
I'm afraid he may turn Democratic or start F-45.
That's valid points, actually. He's not wrong. Might want to be careful with that thing.
You
ever seen that where people top knot people? Oh, they're sitting in a cafe or something, and people just come up? I would do that to you.
I would be okay with it. Mint trading cards. A trading card would look great in the podcast studio, Rich.
Oh yeah, it would.
Like the Alex Gazan new trading card.
Reach out to Rory.
Don't you love saying that?
Reach out to Rory. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
go talk to Rory. Go talk to Josh. Go talk to Jake. That's usually what I do.
That's what I do.
Email.
Susan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Please talk
Hey,
to
I'll have
Susan.
my people talk to your people.
Just Sousa. Just text Sousa.
Yep.
Hey,
Got to see Sousa a little bit. He came to
did?
campground. He came out to the campground a little bit.
Yeah, he said everyone was really nice to him. He said he had a good time out there.
We had a great, Josh, Josh Malone, he's incredible at that type of stuff. And he, 37 days is what they had to put that all together. And they hammered it. It was awesome. Just seeing people work out on the 30 minutes from 7 a.m. till 5, 6 p.m. was incredible.
I don't know who Josh Malone is.
You don't know Josh?
No,
Oh,
what's
man.
he look like?
Big, pale, blonde. No.
Hey, do you know who this guy Bryce is? Who he has a podcast. It's called
Bryce Harper?
The Invictus Mindset or something.
Oh, no.
No, big giant
No.
dude. No. Oh.
I don't think so.
Anyway, hey, I'm that blew by fast.
Blew by fast?
I plan to kick Jason off and just have you all to myself.
No, we have fun. Me and Jason go way back.
I know. Yeah, I figured it was safe if I didn't get him off.
Yeah, no. I play well with others now. Used to not, but I do now.
I appreciate you coming on.
Heck yeah. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to hear about the Leadville. I'm excited
Whole
for the Leadville
recap.
podcast.
Yeah, it'll come out I think Tuesday. I think it's what Scott said. Scott, media guys went on a little break, so they needed it. They worked their ass off.
Everyone crashed once at least. Who does the race?
I don't know. I
1,800 people
ate.
minimum. 1,800 crashes.
I don't know. I ate it hard. I'm telling you, it was good. It was fun.
Anyone see it?
Some guy laughed. He was like, "Dude, if I had a GoPro, that would have been amazing." I'm like, "Dude, it was cool." And it didn't hurt until I get home, and I'm like, "Oh, I got elbow scratches. I got some scratches on my shins and knee, and so it was good."
Oh, Patrick Clark just said Bryce has a show coming out with Haley Adams. Any word on Haley coming back?
Yeah,
to
Haley's was at the. She's been here every day this week, so
no shit.
She's just trying to have some fun working out and try to get back into what she feels like she needs to do with good balance. And so she seems happy, and it's been fun having her back. So
good on her. Good to hear that. And what about I heard Roman's going to Dubai. Is that true?
Roman
there to train there.
That'd be news to me. I think he went to Dubai to visit family and bring his wife and son back. And I just walked through the coffee shop and saw him just now.
Probably bullshit. Just rumors.
Rumors.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for being here, Rich.
Love you. Bye. Thank you.
Say hi to everyone.
Will do.
Thanks. I do want to say thank you for your constant generosity. You're so great with me every time I see you in person. I cannot tell you.
Hey,
I feel the love from you always. You're great. Thanks, buddy.
Love you. Bye. See you, Sousa, behind the screen somewhere.
Rich Froning. I didn't even get through any of my notes with Rich, but I'm going to the skate park. He was great to me at the games. Fuck, every time he sees me, he comes up and says hi, puts his arm around me. He just fucking, he's so fucking crazy. He gives so much. I don't know how he does it. Thoughts on using a Whoop versus a Garmin for CF? Sorry. And here's the thing. I want to say this is why it's so crazy. Because I don't give back to Rich like that when I see him. Because when I see him, I'm like, I go in my head a little bit. I'm like, I don't want to bug him because so many people are demanding attention from him. But in reality, that's kind of fucked that I do that to him because it sends him mixed signals. But he just cuts right through it. Like every time he sees me, he'll like literally like come and manhandle me. He like physically he fondles me. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. He fondles me. So it's cool. He fondles me. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's weird. He fondles me, and then I get all like a cat. Like I get all fucking crazy and shit. I bite him. Okay. There is an amazing show today at 11 a.m. Shut Up and Scribble. It's gonna be an insane show. I think they're gonna get Castro on that show soon. I ain't lying. And let me see if there's a show tonight. Shut Up and Scribble. Nope, no show tonight. And then tomorrow morning, Darian will be on with me. We're going to talk a little bit about Aljo and Sugar, Sean O'Malley. And then in the evening, it looks like we're going to have Danielle Brandon and Ben Smith. Adam Klink is doing the Leadville, I think, this weekend. He's running it. Crazy, right? 11 a.m. 11 a.m. is J.R. Howell and Taylor Self. Taylor sent me an amazing photo of himself yesterday. So those of you who watch Shut Up and Scribble today, ask JR to share the amazing photo. By the way, I called him the last needle mover, and if you look at the numbers of this show, you will see that it is no fucking joke. Rich Froning, ladies and gentlemen. Love you guys. She is coming. David, Wide. Danielle Brandon is coming. She is coming. Ken Walters, are you going to go hard on Ben? Thank you, Robbie Myers, 1999.